Imagine an entire Roman legion, thousands of the most elite soldiers in the ancient world, marching into the mists of history and simply disappearing. No survivors, no bodies, no trace. This isn't a myth. It's the chilling story of the Ninth Legion. In the year 122 AD, Emperor Hadrian built his famous wall across Britain, a massive statement of Roman power. But one legion, the Legio IX Hispana, the Ninth Spanish Legion, was conspicuously absent. The last definitive record we have of them places them in Britain, at York, around 108 AD. After that, silence. A legion of nearly 5,000 men, a force that had conquered for Caesar and fought across the empire for centuries, vanished from all Roman records. What happened to them? The most popular theory is that they were annihilated in battle. Britain was a brutal, unconquered frontier. The native tribes, particularly the Picts in what is now Scotland, were fierce warriors. It's easy to imagine the Ninth marching north into the misty highlands and being ambushed, overwhelmed, and completely wiped out. A catastrophic defeat so total that Rome, out of shame, erased it from history. It makes sense, right? A powerful legion swallowed by the savage North. This story even inspired books and movies. But here's where it gets strange. There's no archaeological evidence for such a massive battle. No mass graves, no Roman shields, no thousands of skeletons clad in Roman armor. A battle of that scale would have left a mark, a scar on the landscape. But archaeologists have scoured the region for decades, and they've found nothing. It's like the battle never happened. So, if they weren't wiped out in Scotland, where did they go? Let's rewind. Some historians started looking closer at the records, and they found something odd. A few scattered inscriptions, small clues that didn't fit the story of a Scottish disaster. For example, records suggest that some high-ranking officers from the Ninth Legion continued their careers long after 122 AD. How could that be possible if the entire legion was destroyed? A commander can't have a career if his legion is gone. This discovery sent shockwaves through the historical community. It meant the old theory was likely wrong. So, a new theory emerged. What if the Ninth wasn't destroyed in Britain at all? What if they were simply transferred? The Roman Empire was vast, and legions were constantly moved to where they were needed most. Some evidence suggests the Ninth might have been moved to the Rhine frontier in modern-day Germany. A tile stamped with the Ninth Legion's insignia was found in the city of Nijmegen. This was a bombshell. It placed the legion far from Britain, alive and well, after they supposedly vanished. But again, the puzzle isn't that simple. This evidence is thin, a few stamped tiles and bricks. It's not enough to confirm the presence of a whole legion. It could have been a small detachment, a group of veterans, or even just old building materials being reused. The trail in Germany goes cold almost as quickly as it appears. No legionary fortress, no definitive records. The Ninth seems to have vanished from the Rhine as well. So, we're back to a mystery. This leads us to another, even more dramatic theory. The Ninth Legion may have been sent even further east, to the empire's most volatile border, the frontier with the Parthian Empire in modern-day Iran and Iraq. The wars with Parthia were brutal. Unlike the tribal warriors of Britain, the Parthians were a sophisticated military power with heavy cavalry that could shatter Roman formations. In the 160s AD, a disastrous war broke out. The Parthians overran Roman territories, and historical accounts mention 2 legions being completely destroyed in the east. One of these legions is never named. Could it have been the Ninth? Sent to the meat grinder of the Eastern Front, only to be annihilated in a battle so devastating that, once again, its name was struck from the records? This would explain the disappearance. A transfer, followed by utter destruction. But we face the same problem. No definitive proof. The Roman historian Cassius Dio, who wrote about this war, doesn't name the Lost Legion. It's a compelling idea, a ghost legion meeting its end in the deserts of the East, but it remains speculation. It's a theory built on an absence of evidence, trying to fill a gap in the historical record. The mystery of the Ninth Legion is like a detective story where every clue leads to another dead end. There's another, much darker possibility. What if the Legion wasn't destroyed by an enemy, but by Rome itself? The Romans had a punishment called damnatio memoriae, the condemnation of memory. If a legion disgraced itself through mutiny or cowardice, its name, number, and all records could be officially erased. It would be as if it never existed. Could the Ninth have committed some terrible act that led to its official damnation? A rebellion against an emperor? A catastrophic failure born from cowardice? This is perhaps the most tantalizing theory of all, because it suggests the story isn't about a military defeat, but a political secret. A cover-up at the highest levels of the Roman Empire. But what could a legion of 5,000 men have done to deserve such a fate? The records that would tell us are, by the very nature of the punishment, gone forever. We are left staring into a void deliberately created by the Romans themselves. The silence is the story. So what do we have? A legion that vanishes from Britain. A theory of destruction in Scotland with no battlefield. A clue in Germany that leads nowhere. A possible, but unconfirmed, transfer to the east, ending in another unconfirmed annihilation. And the shadowy possibility of a state-sanctioned erasure from history. Every path we take ends in a question mark. Modern research continues to chip away at the mystery. Some historians now argue for a less dramatic explanation. They suggest the Ninth Legion wasn't destroyed at all, but was simply disbanded. Perhaps its numbers dwindled over years of small-scale fighting and disease. Its units were absorbed into other legions, and it just faded away. Its name disappearing from the lists not because of a single catastrophe, but through a slow, administrative process. This death by 1,000 cuts theory is logical, but it lacks the drama of a vanished army. It feels almost too simple for such an enduring mystery. It doesn't explain why such a famous legion would be allowed to just dissolve without any clear record. The Romans were meticulous record keepers. Why is there no papyrus scroll saying the Ninth Legion is hereby disbanded? The lack of that one simple document is what keeps the mystery alive. So, after 2,000 years, the fate of the Ninth Legion remains one of history's greatest unsolved cases. Were they slaughtered in the Scottish mists? Did they meet their end fighting Parthian cavalry in the desert? Were they disgraced and erased by their own emperors? Or did they simply fade into administrative obscurity? The truth is, we don't know. And maybe that's why the story captivates us. It's a ghost story from the Roman Empire. The tale of 5,000 soldiers who marched into the fog and never came back. Their silence speaks louder than any historical record. They are a chilling reminder that even the mightiest empires can lose their legends to the mists of time. What do you think happened to the Ninth Legion? Let me know your theory in the comments below. I read every single one. If you love historical mysteries like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next investigation into the past. Thanks for watching.